awesome. Thank you so much.
But they just didn't really grasp to it because it was what everybody was teaching. And I was talking about this stuff, and people knew they needed it. On the classic line.
Oh, I was reading where like 7,000 people, no, sorry, 7 million people, excuse me, I'm still sick, lose their benefits coming up this week. And in my mind, I'm like, this is when it'll get real for people. This is when official winter will start for some folks. The clock didn't start in March of last year. It didn't start March of this year when it's already been a year. You know, people had that hope that if they just keep waiting, that some magical benefits are going to come to them. You know, because right now they're already saying, hey, Erica, listen, some people didn't get the rental assistance. It's not there yet. So if you've ever worked with the federal government or the government locally, DMV, the post office, they don't never be on time. Do y'all truly believe that y'all should sit in these people's houses and apartments for 2-3 years waiting on checks to be sorted out? I really hope you don't. Because if you're really serious about this rental assistance, what will happen is by the time y'all get on out these apartments and go on to the next apartment and somebody follow up on the case, in about a year or two, a lot of apartment managers and a lot of apartment people, they're going to start getting these checks in the mail. And these checks are going to be from where the rental assistance had got finally processed a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later. Let me tell you, I'm in trucking, and trucking is you pay right then on the dot. If you don't, somebody's usually late. You know, that's why you work through brokers. And then if you don't work with brokers, you work with factoring companies. And the factoring company fights for the money. We literally at December, the last week of December, random checks started coming. Like, I think it was close to like the second week of December last year. Random checks started coming in the mail. And I'm like, what is happening? And it was loads that had been delivered and not paid for to our factoring company that their accounting had finally processed. $1,000 here, $3,000 there, $5,000 here, right? And I go, what the hell is this? If somebody was in a company and running a business, you know, let's really honest, let's just say it, running it on cash, which is unfortunately where a lot of minority people run their businesses on cash and not on credit, they would be out of business. So in the same faction that these are for-profit companies, and it still took them 6 months almost for some of them, almost a year for some of them, to go, oops, sorry, we had a missing case here. Oh, the insurance company sent us $1,000 and they was only supposed to send us $800. Here's $200 there. You know, these things are for-profit companies. The timeline's crazy, right? This happens with Net 30 everywhere in America, so I don't think this is just trucking. Excuse me. So you have the government who's slow. I mean, Peter, put some slow moving snails here on the screen. Put some snails on the screen because that's how slow they are. Slug snails. And you think they're going to get this stuff processed in time? I think the thing said 8% of rental assistance nationally had been completed. And we should give them more time. No. They're going to finish processing that paperwork. But unfortunately, you will be put out. Now, Austin, Texas and Dallas, Texas, two different places. Peter put a picture of Texas here on the screen. Dallas is like, nah, but we getting y'all out. There's no protection. We out. We got things to do here in Dallas. Austin is said, listen, let's meet in the middle. We gonna keep y'all in here till October. Okay, October 15th. But here's the problem. If you haven't paid rent for 5 months, right? Just, 5 months plus, and you haven't applied for rental assistance, we gonna get you out. So you have property managers all across Austin going, oh, there's a ton of people who ain't paid in 5 months. And guess what people had to do? Run around and pay up enough rent So they weren't in that 5-month window of not paying. And how do I know? I still know people in the industry, right? So we talk to them. But think about that. People make sure they pay just enough to stay in those apartments, right? Just enough, right? Not in a like, hey man, I better really get serious about this. I better switch jobs with this. I'm in a busy city. None of that, right? And so when you're talking to people, and you hope that they get the memo, like, hey, you gotta pay attention here. The switch up is here, right? You gotta pay attention. Something's happening. And it's unfortunate that you're talking to people and you're trying to get them to see this, and they think, hey, Erica, you're being insensitive. These people should be able to stay in these apartments. And again, y'all, I'm not wanting to put people out in the streets. That's not what this channel's about. This channel's about solutions that make sense for everybody. And yes, getting you guys ready for the winter that is coming. If you think that companies, which are apartment complexes, who are like, hey, you know what, your unemployment hasn't got here yet. It sucks. Your rental assistance hasn't got here yet. But if they can see you applied for it, right, and it's being processed, they may work with you some if you can come up with some money. But even if you had rental assistance being approved, at some point you had to go back to work. There's 10 million job openings. We can't all say that we deserve higher pay in this economy. What you gonna see this fall, and I don't care what none of this damn manosphere and men channels and men going their own way and all this other stuff, I don't care what you're talking about. There's going to be a lot of people, men and women, who don't make enough in their cities, respective of their cities, who going to marry. Point blank period. They're going to marry, they're going to cohabitate. Whichever one you know, if you want to go, well, there's the marriage rate's not going down. Okay, cool. They're going to cohabitate. They're going to live with some woman. Point blank period. And if you want to call that's a win because they didn't marry them, whatever silly mess you want to call it. But at the end of the day, these people going to move into multi-generational housing. A lot of people's mama's boyfriends is moving in for the winter. A lot of these women, I know a woman who had 4 children. 2 of them were at college, 2 of them were still with her, and conveniently moved in with her boyfriend. And now that they get married 2 years later, yes, but at the time I thought, well, dang, she just moved in with him. And she got 2 kids, his whole life changing. If you got a house, folks, pay attention. These men and women going to conveniently get up in there and have clothes in the cabinets and drawers, and they ain't leaving. So just brace yourself. When we talk about winter is coming, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about people going to transition. That's the best way to use it. Hey, man, I'm in between. I just got put out this apartment. I'm looking for a new apartment and the rental assistance, and you're going to hear all kind of stories this fall. And they're going to move in with you, and that's okay. Y'all can tell yourself whatever y'all want to tell yourself. That you just temporary, it's only for a few months, whatever. Baby, they there to stay. So welcome to the winter. If you're waiting on unemployment benefits, I strongly suggest you start Ubering and Lyfting, Door Dashing. We have the winter checklist booklet, should be out, should be in the links below. I tell you step by step what you should be doing, how you should be getting yourself ready, which way left or right to go, because I know some of y'all not ready, and that's okay. I've already started bracing myself for the influx of real estate opportunities in Texas and the Carolinas. Those are 2 places that I focus. Now, Oklahoma City is starting to be interesting, but I don't have enough base there. I'm not necessarily worried about Detroit. Detroit's going to look like Detroit for another 5 years. Things are going to change, some renovations, but it's not like Columbus, Ohio, where they're just like 10, 20% returns and changing up everywhere, right? It's not like parts of, I would say, even South Carolina, parts of Florida, where it's just constructions left and right. The winter is here, right? For the people that was paying attention, good luck. People that weren't paying attention, you already know. You left behind. And we don't even got to play that game. So again, I hope you get your benefits. I hope you get your unemployment. I just want you to know it ran out. For most people, the deadline's here. No more new applicants. There's not going to be no another stimulus. We ain't got it. America just don't got it. You see, we had to pull out of Afghanistan. We not really doing no crazy excursions, okay? We can't get no scrimmages. We just got to fix our own bridges and roads at this point. America is going to look like some parts of the country where we just kind of gave up. We ran out of money. This infrastructure bill that's coming, half the bill is going to port. So again, we'll go over that in another video, but pay attention to the signs. Business owners, people that can do contracting, people that can do repairs. There's going to be a lot of repairs coming for the next 10 years of America. Those people be doing good. People who already got their house, can pay their property taxes because that's a part of it. They're going to be good. People going to live in master plan communities and live a good life. You already know. So again, this is your girl Erica, Classy Climb Blog. I hope this video wasn't a downer, but I just want you to understand, like, 7 million people about to get some surprises. Later.